Hi guys, I'm Jaclyn Hawkins, founder of Women's Hockey Life Academy, where we help players and families navigate the recruiting process and obtain scholarship money. And if you're in high school or even in grade 8 and you're trying to figure out where to start with the recruiting process, then pay attention because you are exactly in the right place. In this video series, I'm going to lay out some very powerful shifts that you can use to not only understand the recruiting process, but have steps to take to help get you where you need to be. So get ready because we're going to move fast. Now, a quick disclaimer before we get started here. I don't know you, obviously. I don't know how dedicated you are. I don't know how bad you want it. But I believe that anyone with the right strategy, with enough dedication, can end up at the school that fits their needs and have a successful 4-year career as a student athlete in university. But I just want you to understand that I'm not promising you that that will happen. My results, my team's results, my clients' results, they are not typical. But in these videos, I'm going to share it all with you and show you how we've gotten the results that we have, okay? So let's get started. Great ideas come from great questions. And I created this mini video series to answer 3 big questions for you. Number 1. How can I take control of the recruiting process so that I never have to worry about if what I'm doing is right? Number 2, how can I gain maximum exposure to coaches and know how and when to talk to them? Number 3, how can I find scholarship money to offset the cost of tuition so I'm not in a massive hole of debt when I graduate? So if you stick with me and watch these videos, you're going to get answers to all 3 of those questions. In fact, let's make it even simpler. Let's narrow it right down to one big question. How can I take control of the recruiting process that hits the university goal I set and get scholarship money while being positive that I'm making the right decision? That's what I want for you, and that's what we do for our clients. What I'm going to share with you today is a step-by-step game plan for exactly how we do it. We have had players come through this program who had no idea where to start. After just 8 weeks working with us, they feel confident in the direction they are now going. They set high goals for themselves that at first may have seemed crazy, but after being walked through this program, they now know what they need to do every single day to achieve their goal. And you're going to meet some of them in these videos. The information is great, but it's not just about the information you'll get in this course. It's the transformation our successful clients have made with their mindset and the belief they gain in themselves to tackle any obstacle that comes their way in this recruiting process that allows them to take control of the recruiting process. Okay, does that sound good? Great. It's time to get out a pen and paper or open up a Word document, whichever's easier for you, and be ready to take some notes because I'm about to blow your mind with some pretty huge ideas. One other thing, these videos are designed to be interactive, so if you want to get some really great insight out of this and make some amazing discoveries, then you're going to have to participate a little bit, all right? So let me start by asking you this. What's your university goal? And I'm not simply talking about I want to get an education or I want to play hockey in university, but what would be an amazing life-changing experience for you? I want you to think about it and just write it down. Don't be afraid to think big. Now let me ask you this. Why is it so important for you to have that? Why is it so important for you? Why is it so important for your family? What could you do after your 4 years in university with the experience you had? And I want you to just write down one reason. It can be as simple as, I want to be a doctor, or I want to become a nurse, or it's my path to the Olympics, or maybe you're the first in your family to go to university. Just write down one reason why you have to go to university and play hockey. So what's your university goal? What is it that you want to have accomplished at the end of your 4 years? And why is it so important? All right? Got it? Great. Now I want you to look at your goal, whatever it is. When I went through the process, I wanted to play for Team Canada, and I hadn't even been invited to a camp yet. But I knew going to university and getting to play at a high level for another 4 years would allow me the opportunity to be seen. This goal is a seed you are planting. What matters is that you are committed to making it real. So let's talk about how to make that happen together. What you need to know about WHL Academy, what you need to know about everything I'm about to share with you is that it's a system. And that's something that almost nobody else has, honestly. It's a recipe. You follow the recipe, you get the result. Now, this particular recipe has about 5 big steps. 5 changes that you need to make to the way that you're tackling the recruiting process now if you want to take control over the process and feel great about it. So we're talking about the first 2 steps in this video, and then we're going to talk about the other steps in the other 3 videos. So the first step is to start with total integrity. Now, this isn't so much a step, but rather the foundation, the major principle you need. Because without integrity, none of this stuff works. And at WHL Academy, we live and die on our integrity. So if you want to get recruited by the right coach, the right university, then you need to do the same. At WHL Academy, I make all of our decisions based on one thing. What is going to get the best outcomes for my clients? And I want you to remember that word outcomes, because it's going to be really important in a minute, and it's actually the secret ingredient to making all of this work. Whether you want to become a doctor, or play on the top line of your team, or be the best penalty killer who blocks 5 shots a game, this is how our clients are making their goals become reality. They're staying true to who they are as a player and student, and knowing that the right coach will value what they have to offer and not try and be someone that they aren't. The one thing I need you to understand is that how you approach the recruiting process is like a mirror. You attract the kind of coach that you are. So in other words, if you're indecisive, guess what? You're going to attract coaches who are indecisive. If you don't take responsibility for your own life and your own success, you're going to attract coaches who act the same way. But if you show up coachable, coaches are going to love that. If you're decisive, the coaches who will recruit you will be too. And if you're resourceful and you're not afraid to invest in yourself and your future, then guess what? Coaches are going to step up and be resourceful and invest in you too. Because remember, guys, to coaches, this is a business. They are investing in you when they decide to recruit you and make you a part of their team. This isn't magic. This is just the way that the universe works. Yes, we're here to take control of the recruiting process, but we're also here to make a huge difference on the teams we play for, the schools we attend, and the people we surround ourselves with. So that means you say what you mean and you mean what you say. It means you make every decision on what will provide you with the best possible university experience that you can have while impacting others in a positive way. Now that may sound obvious, but no one else in the mentorship of women's hockey recruiting is doing this. They're just going out and vouching for who you are without really knowing who you are. That rubs coaches the wrong way, and even those who say they can get you the results aren't in fact getting the results. Or they tell you that they can do something and then they don't follow through. So I want you to commit right now to being the best that you can be. Taking control of the recruiting process becomes much, much easier if you think of yourself as one of the best, even if you aren't today. I want you to ask yourself this. What would you be doing every single day if you were the best player in the world? What would you do if you were here to play the game at the highest level? What would you be doing if you were truly committed to creating the best possible outcomes for yourself? So if you can commit to operating with total integrity, you're going to be way ahead of other players out there trying to play university hockey. And I'm serious about that. Just being one of the good guys immediately puts you at the head of the pack. The second step is to know what you have to offer a university and team. So let me ask you a very important question. How can you add value to a university and team? I just want you to think about that for a second. Maybe you're thinking you're a reliable stay-at-home defenseman, or a straight-A student, or maybe you've been a top goal scorer on every single team you've played on. So how can you add value to a university and team? Well, this might shock you a bit, but your on-ice abilities, your straight A's in school, don't mean anything if you're not also a great person. So I know everyone else tells you to focus on your stats and your grades, and yes, those are important. They are what get you through the door. But I'm going to tell you something. In this day and age, a coach will take a less talented player or student if they're genuinely a good person. And this gets back to step 1 where we talked about total integrity, about always doing the right thing. You see, you have to understand that coaches want someone who is going to have a positive impact on their university and inside their locker room. Coaches don't just want the all-star on every single team. They want role players who will do their part on a team to help them achieve their goal. They don't want to have to babysit you and make sure you're eating the right foods or that you're doing the workouts or making time to study. They want to have players who actually do all these things without being nagged about it. So let me introduce you to a big shift right now that is going to change how you think about this recruiting process. You're not selling your grades. You're not selling your stats. What you are selling is the value of the outcome you deliver to a team. Now remember that word outcome. I said that just a minute ago. It's all about the outcome. So what is that outcome you provide a team, and what's that worth to a coach to have that outcome? So for example, if you're a grinder who is always the first in on the forecheck, disrupting the other team's breakout and setting up your line mates, what is that worth to a coach? It's priceless because you know your strengths as a player and aren't trying to be something that you're not. If you're a defensive defenseman who only puts up a few points a season, what's that worth to a coach? Priceless. They will rely on you in the last minute of a game with no expectation of you putting up a point per game. Don't try and be a goal scorer if that's not who you are. If you have straight A's and scored well on the SAT and can receive a 50% academic scholarship, what is that worth to a coach? I'll tell you, even if you are a full athletic scholarship student athlete, that coach will value you so much more because they now only have to spend 50% of their athletic scholarship on you and can now go out and find another player at 50%. That's priceless because you just allowed that coach to make his or her team better. Okay? And I'll do you one better. What if you found 5 figures worth of scholarship money that is non-athletic and non-academic related that you could earn? Again, it's priceless. The easier you make it for a coach to say, how can we not take her? The more opportunities you give yourself. So I need you to take a second and just think about it. If you stay true to who you are as a player and student, whether you're a grinder, a stay-at-home defenseman, or can receive non-athletic scholarship money, and that coach is in need of that type of player and student on their team, you're going to fill that void that that coach needs. You are going to fix their problem. Okay? Now let's talk about why this is so important and why it's a good thing. The truth is, knowing who you are is better for everyone. Coaches want people who know who they are. They want people who know their strengths and weaknesses as a player and who are willing to improve both. When you know who you are, you believe in yourself 100%. You have confidence in who you are. You have confidence in your on-ice abilities, in your academics, in your leadership. Coaches aren't left wondering if you're going to try and change who you are to meet what you think their expectations are of you as a player because you've shown them exactly who you are throughout the entire recruiting process. They are recruiting you because of what you show them every time they see you play. Think about that for a second. How many of us try to live up to an expectation that we think a coach has of us? You may think a coach expects you to get a shutout every single game when they watch you play, when really what they love about you is that you can keep your team in a game. And yes, a shutout would be great, but as long as you give your team a chance to win, that's all they expect of you. That's what they want. So when you have a high belief in yourself and what you're capable of, that equals to higher confidence, which leads to better results. As coaches, we always have players who struggle with confidence. Every single human being on this planet struggles with confidence at certain points in their life. What separates the elite players from everyone else is their ability to rebound and gain their confidence back, which results in them performing better. The shorter the amount of time spent gaining that confidence back in yourself and your abilities, the more valuable you are to a coach. And the best way to gain confidence back? Knowing who you are, what your strengths are, and doing the little things every day to gain it back. Confidence begins from within, guys. A coach can absolutely help build your confidence, but if you don't first believe in yourself, there's nothing a coach can do or say to get it back for you. The more you invest in yourself, the more committed you'll be, and that's what this whole thing is about. It's what coaches are looking for in their players. The key to getting recruited is to connect the daily work that you do to an amazing result. Do you see how that works? Yes, having good grades and having good stats will get your foot in the door. But what will separate you from everyone else is your ability to sell the outcome that you can deliver a coach every single day. And that outcome will be different for every player because every player has different strengths. And that's why we had to start with integrity, right? Because you have to stay true to who you are as a player and base every decision that you make on how you can give a coach the best outcome that they want to make their team better. You are that missing piece for some coach out there. Does that make sense? Okay, great. So this is Erin. And when Erin came to WHL Academy, she was struggling with getting recruited by the right coach. She was a stay-at-home defenseman who put up maybe 7 points in a season. She was solid on the penalty kill and often would face the other team's top lines. She was extremely frustrated with her current coach for not putting her on the power play and even more frustrated with herself for not scoring more goals. This is common with a lot of our clients. When she started to work with us, we talked about her style of play and the outcomes she could provide a team. The more we shifted her focus to realize and appreciate the value of the outcomes she delivered, the more she started to see that what she did was a lot more valuable than being an offensive defenseman who put up 20 goals a season. You see, Erin would be taking a ton of risks in games, trying to rush the puck end to end or staying on for extended shifts, all in the pursuit of scoring a goal. It ultimately led to a ton of turnovers, which only frustrated her coach. Once Erin began focusing on being that shutdown defenseman, her confidence grew, the coach's confidence in her grew, and she began to play more and more. And guess what else happened? College coaches began to see her value too. She ended up getting recruited by several NCAA Division III coaches, all simply because she accepted who she was as a player and stopped trying to be someone she wasn't. I want you to look at your game right now and ask yourself, what is the most amazing outcome I can provide a team? And take some time to think about it. You don't have to answer that right now, but I do want you to really think hard about the type of player you are, and then once you've figured that out, ask yourself this. How can I become the best at what I do? Okay? Now, for fun, I want you to write down one thing that you can do every single day to be the best player that you can be. Don't think too long about it. Just the first thing that pops into your head. Write it down. What's that one thing you can do every single day to get better? Did you do it? Okay, good. Okay, so now we have our first two steps. We know that step 1 is that we have to operate with total integrity. And step 2, we need to know what we can offer a university and a team. And guess what? You can do that because you're not selling your grades or your stats. You are selling an outcome. Got it? Now, I want to show you something pretty cool. Here's the game plan you've already started to create for yourself. You know your university goal, you know who you are as a player, and you know how to become the best at what you do. So take a look at that. You already have a game plan. And if you had a proven system to market yourself to coaches and a team to work alongside you to fine-tune it all, it doesn't seem so tough, does it? So how do we do it? Well, don't worry. I'm not going to leave you hanging. On the next video, it's all about how to market yourself to coaches. So there are links to go ahead and watch that video on this page right now if you want to. I'll see you guys on the next video.